Today, our guest speaker is the last speaker of the month. As a matter of fact, he was our first speaker to open up the year and the month. He's the last speaker for the end of the month, for the first month of the new year as well. Without further ado, from the Crew organization out in South Carolina, he's a regional director. He will be a regional vice president very shortly. He's not that far away right now, him and his lovely wife. And his subject today entitled is Taprooting and Timing, the Art of Looking for Leaders. Without further ado, regional director, the one and only Mr. Curtis Evans.
Got something to take some notes with. Really, it's not a lot of notes. The notes are going to be toward the end. The first part of it, I'm going to talk about me, which is easy. I know me. I was born with me. I've been with me a long time. I got me down. Okay. And I think most people on this call can say that. We got ourselves down. But one of the dangers in network marketing, and I'm going to take that back. One of the dangers in life is something called self-sabotage. It's something that we don't know why we do it. Nobody knows why we do what we do to our own self. I mean, it's kind of crazy. There's an old saying that you might have heard it, get out your own way. Sometimes you gotta get out your own way. This is so much bigger than you are. Okay. Now I'm not minimizing you, because it's a little tricky thing here, because you need a certain amount of self-confidence, and you go through illusions of grandeur to some degree, and you need that so you won't, if you have a bad day, you won't kill yourself. I mean, you need to know that you're worth something, so you will stick around when there are bad days, because everybody has bad days. Everybody has a bad year. I can't think of anybody that go on a 10-year project, and this is a 10-year project. I can't think of anybody that goes on a 10-year project and they haven't lost a mother, maybe, or brother, or had a car accident, or who's been around 10 years and they maybe broke a leg or got sick or maybe had to go in the hospital. I mean, that's normal. Those are just normal things that happen to everybody. And so when I say leadership, and we'll talk about that a little bit, leaders just get through it. I mean, I don't know how else to tell you. Leaders understand that this is part of life. I can't remember if it was Zig Ziglar, or I can't remember who the speaker was, but he said, if you don't like this, go start your own planet up, okay? If you don't like this, what we do down here on planet Earth, then go start your own planet up. Because sometimes we think it's just the world's against us. It's me. It's something about me, or something about my family. You don't understand. You don't understand my friends. You don't understand how the people around here, no matter where I went in the United States doing network marketing, people always say the same thing. You don't know the people around here. That's the first thing come out of everybody's mouth, in the South and North, no matter where you are. And yes, there are idiosyncrasies, and everybody has them. And sometimes they are to a certain part of the area, but another person from another town will come into your town and recruit 5, 6, 8 people, and they're up, and 2 of them knew somebody that knew somebody, and boom, they got organizations running, and you knew them, or you knew somebody that knew them, and you're saying that the people around here, the problem is, I consider it, is self-sabotage. Why we won't say something, why we don't have that Sam Foster attitude about cold market. You go in there and say something. Just get yourself out of that woe is me mode. Now, I'm gonna tell you about myself to some degree. Most of you guys on this call would have walked right past me, okay? Most people would have walked right past me. And that's because you didn't know me. But there's a lady that I signed up in her group. Her name was Diane Chapman, and she was in our old business. And Diane had a brother, a cousin of Diane's. See, so you're trying to sign up the cousin. Diane's to want to know who the cousin know. So listen to that carefully. You're trying to sign up the cousin. Diane's trying to find out who the cousin know. So the cousin did finally sign up, but she had to talk to her husband. And her husband said, no, I'm a real estate guy around town. I got a good reputation. I don't need to knock that in the head. La, la, la. Now, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't understand. So you heard people say they lost a lot of money in network marketing. I mean, you paid $199 to get in, like they said at the conference the other day, and you lost your house? You lost your house? You paid $199 to get in, you lost your house? How in the world could that happen? So people got this crazy stuff running around in their head, a bunch of junk that don't equal or add up to anything. They'll pay that for a pocketbook or I don't know. So she signed up. Finally, her husband said he'll look at it. So Diane went over to her cousin's house, showed it to her and her husband. And her husband looked at it. I mean, he was dragged around. I mean, wallowed on the ground, hollered, and just, I don't know. And he didn't want to do it. And I don't know what happened, but a week or two, three, he signed up. Okay. Then he signed up a young man by the name of a lady that worked at the deal at his real estate office. He signed her up, Janelle Sistrunk, and Janelle signed up Isaiah Sistrunk. Jerry Sistrunk, and Jerry signed up Isaiah Sistrunk. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Isaiah was the security guard that signed me up. Okay, so suppose that cousin's husband just didn't get started. Suppose she never talked to her cousin. So they didn't do a whole lot. They did some. They did really well. But I mean, the question is, why did you talk to your cousin? So I asked Melinda Batiste. I go to Jamar. I'll talk to Jesse, and we'll talk to Betty. Are you trying to sign up your cousin, or are you trying to find out who your cousin know? Okay, because and then so they signed me up. Now they didn't know me. I'm gonna tell you who they signed up. I was born. I'm an old guy. I'm old coon. Okay, I was born in 1954 in Orangeburg, South Carolina. My dad was John Evans and Carolyn Evans. My dad went in the military a year before that, and we were traveling all around the world. He was in the Air Force 23 years. My mom was a housewife. She was a chosen witness, and she passed away in 2014. So when we were growing up, we were knocking on doors. We're the people waking you up on Saturday morning and what you want, and we had to watch Time to Wake and all that. I didn't know I was in training right then. I wasn't scared of nobody. I mean, just knocking on the door. I was a little boy, 6, 7 years old, knocking on doors. That's my job, knock on the door. And people run you off, and they run the people off and the little boy off. They go. I know what you want. I gotta go to school. This is my rest day. So that's who I was. My dad was in the Air Force, like I said. And before I got out of high school, I went to 10 different schools all around the world. Went to school in Austin, Texas, San Antonio. We went to school in, oh my goodness, I can't, New Jersey, Michigan. We went to school in London, Germany, Atwater, California. But in Atwater, California, I was 6 years old. I mean, excuse me, in 8 or 9 years, something like that. And my dad would give us a quarter every day every week for an allowance. And now 15 cents to get in the movie, 10 cents for popcorn. This is back in 1966. I saved 4 quarters, didn't go to the movie 4 weeks, and saved my quarters. And then back in the Superman magazine, there was a little article, a little coupon back there. You could send it in and you could get some flower seeds. They'll send you some flower seeds. They'll send you $5. $5 is a lot of money in 1966. They'll send you $5 worth of flower seeds. Now, they didn't send you $5, they sent you $5 worth of flower seeds. And then what I would do, since I was good at knocking on doors, I went around to on Bay's housing and knocked on the doors and asked the ladies, hey, would you like to plant some flowers? I got flower seeds. And they'll run to the door and they said, what do you got? Some of them said, but a lot of them would just want, there's watermelon in there and all kind of stuff. So I was selling flower seeds and I made $5 from a $1 investment. And I had to save up the $1, right? It's sort of like I $1.99 now, okay? So I just need you to understand, I learned to knock on doors for free as one of the chosen witnesses. And then 2, I learned how to make some money out of the back of a coupon in a magazine. A lot of people that came into this business way back in the day because of an article in a magazine. Pat Hens came into Excel, a good friend of mine. He came into Excel. He actually comes to Florida, to Charleston right now, every other week. But he came into Excel because a friend of his or somebody he knows saw an article in the newspaper up in Wisconsin. So that's what we had to do back then. They didn't have the internet. So anyway, that's what I did. I learned how to do that. I built a little business, got a little clientele, and I could go around. I just knew what houses to go to because I knew they'll get something, and that's how that worked out. But now you wouldn't have said anything to me. You wouldn't have known I had that much experience in direct sales if you knew. You wouldn't have said nothing to me. I could have been your brother, cousin, sister, uncle. You wouldn't have said anything to me. So we don't know who we're passing up. We just don't know. But the security guard was an aggravating cuss. Now he wouldn't let me go. He was a nice guy, really, really nice, well-mannered guy, but he would not let me. He kept telling me, you want to make some real money. and I didn't quite understand what he was talking about. Finally, my dad had retired. We moved back to South Carolina. And I remember driving a school bus for a year. I saved that money to buy a car. And while I was doing that, and when I got out of school, I'd go to my uncle's gas station, work at a gas station, cleaning windshields and putting air in tires. Now, for a lot of you don't understand this, but people used to go to a gas station, get gas. And while they got the gas, somebody will pump gas in your car while you sat in your car. You guys don't know that people could sit in their car and have somebody else pump gas in your car. And while they were doing that, they would check the tires and they would also check your oil. And guess what? They would clean your windshield. This is some crazy stuff, but I mean, right now, this is crazy because we don't even go in the gas station. We put a car in there and then take off and go with a dirty car with a bad tire, no oil in the car, and we just are going down the road. That's what we do now. But that was back in the day, and that's what I did. Got out of high school, I made enough money in a year and a half to buy a car. I bought a 68 Road Runner. Now this is 60, I graduated in 72. So that's what happened at the plant. I moved my way up through the plant and did really, really well. What someone would call really well. And then the security guard came up and introduced me to network marketing. Actually, Darlene introduced me. I had a wife and 4 kids. I got married in 76. 4 kids. My wife, we were married for 30 years, and then she passed away in San Francisco at the I can't remember the center. It was San Francisco General. She had a heart attack and she passed away in San Francisco. I was out there speaking to a group of people with a company called Shackley. Okay, so that's what I did. That's my puppy want to eat. So that's what happened back then in around 2005, 6. I was single for about 10 years, and then I married Darlene. I put everything I had in an old Porsche I had and drove it to Charleston, South Carolina. And I was selling cars, and this is what I did. Okay, so that's me. Now the question is, there's a lot of me's out there, and I'm nothing special. Hold on 1 minute. Give him something to chew on. Okay, so it's a lot of me's out there, and I want to know, and I'm a regular guy, I'm nothing special. How many people would introduce this process to Julian Lewis? Julian could tell the same story I just told you. Al could tell you the same story I just told you. Sam could tell you the same story I just told you. Dave Culler could tell you the same story I just told you. We all are special, and we got some special skills and talents. We just didn't know what to do with them. So they have this system in the United States called go get a job. And that's what we did. They got a system, and you'll have a boss. Do the boss say you'll be fine, but you're not really fine. You think you're fine because they're telling you all the time, that's your desk. Make sure you clean your desk. Make sure you clean your machine. Make sure you mop around your area. Make sure you clean your bus. Make sure you do this. And they kept using the word your. If you notice, your press, your machine, that's not yours. That's not your desk. That is not your bus. That is not your, whatever it is you do at work, that is not yours. But they will convince you that that's yours. And that's why we have so many crazy things happen when somebody lets somebody go. You do not own anything at that job. In fact, the owner that you're so in love with one day will sell it. We're bragging about the owner. He got this. He just bought a new Ferrari. We brag about the people that we're enslaved to. And I'm not saying enslavement, that's a bad word, but that's what we do. And so what we have to do is start looking out for ourselves. And now, how do you do that? You help other people that want to get help. That's what we do. We're in a strange business. And when they come in, they're not our employees. I mean, if I came in Julian Lewis's downline in his group, in his success line, I'm not his employee. And it's kind of sad because when I first get started, I am sort of in an employee mode. So he got to run me around like an employee at first to get me trained. He has to do that because I don't understand working for myself. Remember, you bring a new IBO on, they don't know what you mean when you say work for yourself. They never work for themselves. They don't have the discipline to tell someone no. They don't have discipline to do this, that, or other thing, because at work, you didn't need the discipline. They broke it into really small parts, and you had to do a little part, and they pay you for it every week. So how many people do we need to talk to find an IBO? And then when we find an IBO, what's the most important thing? Is it the qualifying? Yes, qualifying is really important. But before that, would you please find out who they know? Who they know. The guy that signed me up, like I'll tell you the story. when I built a huge business, I was making great residual income, and he hadn't got any customers yet. And so we had to go back in that company. We had to go back and tell him. We had to run him down and tell him. And I seen another leader that did the same thing. He had to go back to his upline. Had to go back to the guy that signed him up and say, you need to get 20 customer points. You need to get 20 customers, because you will get a great check every month. And yeah, I ain't messing with that thing no more. I talked to 2 people, they didn't do nothing. They didn't understand it. So he went back and got his customers. Well, I didn't do it, but another Kenny got him to go back and do it. Kenny Middleton. And this guy had his house payment, his car payment every month in the mail. House payment, car payment in the mail every month. Once he got his, with us, it'd be 75 customer points. With back then, it was each customer was a point. So it was 20 customer points. So do you guys understand that you get in? Now, the bad part about it, when you get this great big downline, you're going to have a problem, because it's like herding cats. You know, you can't herd, you herd cows, you can herd a lot of things, but you can't herd cats. Cats do what cats do. Cats do what they want to do. And so it's a tricky thing. But remember, they're not your employees. They came to business to run a business, and you're going to show them how to do that. Some want to help and some don't. So it's very, very important that you don't get too tied up on anybody too particular, because if they decide to stop or stop for a while, that's up to them, because it's their business. Your job is to find out who they know. That's your job, because they may know Al Thomas. They co-market, they may know a Sam Foster. They may know Bessie, I can't see where the cuss, Bessie Gossamer. They may know a Heather Perry, you know, and that's your job. So what I want you to understand is how special you are. I told my story today, okay? My story is not I'm nothing special, but I'm special. I'm not nothing special, but I'm special. I got skill sets that a lot of people don't have, but you wouldn't have known that. Oh, you saw some guy with a shirt and tie sitting behind a desk that he didn't own, and you would have thought he was this. He had a company car that he didn't own, right? And everybody thinks he's all this and that. And he's trying to figure out how to get out of that mess. He don't know what to do. So, you know, you got to show him the plan, see if he's interested, and we're good to go. In the old days, we used to have to go around and do meetings at people's houses. We knock on, would you have some people come to your house? I can show you this, you know, that it's called PBR. That's what I did to build that first business. And I mean, physically traveling to Alabama, Texas, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Canada, all over to build a business. Now we have Zoom, so we can sort through people a lot faster now. So I don't know how much time we got. I'll usually roll up to 12:30. I just want you to know how special you are, and don't let something, the one person that hurt you more than anything else is going to be you. And it's going to be something called self-sabotage. I don't know why we don't do better. When I was in 6th grade in Atwater, California, and I remember around the time I was doing the grass seeds and the flower seeds. And I remember the teacher, Mr. Booth, he was Mr. Booth in Atwater, California, 6th grade. So that was 1966. It had to be like October, November, because I got appendicitis late in that spring, yeah, okay. And he called my dad and mom to the school, and we were sitting there, and my dad was mad because my dad didn't like going to school. My mom would go to PTA, but dad wouldn't go. But he wanted my dad to go as well. So my dad was there, and I was sitting there. I didn't know what I got in trouble for, but he said, this boy's getting B minuses. He said, I don't understand why this boy's getting B minuses. He doesn't even work hard. He can get straight A's. And my dad said, well, this is what you called me up here for? He said, yeah, this boy can get straight A's. He said, you called me here because the boy's getting B minuses? He said, yes, sir, that's not the problem. The problem is he can get straight A's. And I could. I was listening to the teacher. Now, my dad and mom was a little bit confused, but I was listening to the teacher. That's the first person that ever told me that I could do something more than I could do. That's the first person that ever said anything, but I was more than I thought I was, okay? Self-sabotage is you do as little as you can to get by, okay? And so I immediately, we left there, dad was still upset. Guess what I turned in from then, 6th grade, all the way through school, a couple years of a tech school, college. Guess what I turned in? A and A pluses. The only reason I did it was with Mr. Booth. So when Al was on the call, he's trying to get Marcia going, and he's trying to get James Clark talk. He's talking to James Clark, and he's talking to Jabri Clemens, and he's talking to Zoe and Latasha. He's your Mr. Booth. He's trying to get you to see that you can do more than you think you can do. You saying this, but you can do more. Look at him hard. Look at Julian Hard, because Julian got people in his group. He wants all of them to be RDs. He wants all of them to be RVPs. This is not the beat down. He wants every one of them to be RVPs. Every one of them. He wants them to go to SD. He wants to see them go to $1 million of billables. He wants 12, 13, 14 of them to have $1 million of billables in the next 5, 10 years. This is a strange business. We want people to do well. We want to help them to do well. We want to train them to do well. But what normally gets them first is sometimes they're a broke cousin, but most of the time it's them. Most of the time they'll ask a question and they'll answer it wrong. Let me give you an example. Events. Why don't more people go to events? I'm gonna tell you right now, they think we're selling tickets. We're gonna buy, you're gonna go to the event, event's gonna cost you $100, and the company's gonna make $80 on all these people going to events. Just look around this room. We got 10,000 people here, and all of them paid $200 to get in. You know how much money they made today? And then you answer the question. You answer the question, and you answer the question wrong. You answered the question wrong. Nobody wants to be my customer. You answered the question wrong. I would never get IBO. You answered the question wrong. And so they answered the question wrong. They didn't talk to the person that signed them up. They answered the question wrong and they quit. So it's up to us to help them along until they can get their footing. Now, remember, we're looking for leaders. So we got to taproot down like someone did to me and like I did to a lot of people until I found the leader. And when the leader came in, the leader took off. The leader took off. They want to know what to do, how, when, where, and then they'll take off. And that's what we're looking for. And everybody in our company says that. Now, I'm a little Pat. I can't remember his name. Mazer. He calls him dirt. I hate to call people dirt, but he said, "Don't talk to me about dirt." He said, "I'm looking for gold. You bringing me dirt. You're telling me, but your cousin won't do this. Your uncle won't do that. That's fine. Let's move on." So I just want you to know who you are. I want to explain to you who I am. And just a regular dude. I know I did a lot of traveling and did some corporate work. I mean, that's nothing to talk about. I was corporate workers for somebody else. But we all have some special skills and we need to recognize that. And then just be a little bit pliable, be a little bit coachable, and let someone that's been in the business a little bit longer than you help you get off and started. Make sure you understand the compensation plan. If you don't understand that compensation plan, it's going to get a little crazy out there. You're trying to go somewhere without a roadmap. The compensation plan is the roadmap. That's where we go. Well, that takes care of my session for this morning. I hope you got something out of it. And whatever you do, look down the road because there are people looking for you. Some of them are in your family, some of them are not. We don't know. We don't know where they're going to show up at. Just do the business. Thank you very much. That's all I have, Al. It's back on you.